Hi, Eric.
Hey, how are you?
Good. It's great to be face to face.
Yes, because Craig here has been watching. Gosh, when did you first tune into the
Uh,
festival?
Thursday. We watched
Yeah,
Thursday
we
and
were able
Friday.
to
Yeah.
start on Thursday, so
Oh, awesome!
got a
Yeah, that's
lot.
great. That's great. Thank you so much for supporting it as well and everything like that. Thank you all for taking the time out of your day to show up with us. Wow, what an amazing film! I'm going to dive right in, and Craig's been watching, and I'm big into budget because that's something with independent films that can be difficult to achieve and what have you. And I don't believe your budget, Craig. I simply don't believe the specs that you gave me. I mean, this absolutely mind blowing, incredibly well acted, well filmed, music, sound, everything. Talk to me a little bit about this film, the process, what all it took to make this happen.
Yeah. Well, I think we have a couple more people joining on as well.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, as soon as let's see.
Oh, here comes Todd.
Trying to keep my eye up.
Hi, everybody.
There we go.
So,
Oh,
There's everyone. Hello.
yeah, well, first, before we jump in, I just want to say a big thank you, Eric, for including us in the festival and for orchestrating this whole thing. And it's been amazing watching you do the talkbacks and having to be the whole production team. Hats off to you. And I also wanted to throw a shout out and thank you to the other director of the film, Jamie Renee Smith. She's the hardest working person in Hollywood. She's doing a reading right now over Zoom for a new project, so that's why she's not able to be with us. But I just wanted to throw that out there.
oh, that's awesome. Kudos. Okay, now that we have everybody in, let's everybody introduce themselves and tell us what you did with the film. Not like we can't recognize most of you.
I'll go first. So I'm April Lowe. I married Craig. That was the first bright idea I had. And I co-wrote and produced, and I played Amy in the film.
And I was one of the writers and one of the directors. Craig.
I'm Ken MacFarlane, and I played Simon.
Oh, I'm Darcy.
Darcy.
My name's Darcy, and I played, I believe, Morgan. All of a sudden, I totally forgot my character's name.
I'm Cody. I played Frederick. I went to college with many of these folks, Craig, April, Darcy. I tried to marry Craig, but he was so that's where we are. So I just befriended everybody. So
I'm Elaine Ackles, and I play Navarro.
I'm Angela, and I played Emma.
I'm Todd, and I played Balder.
I'm Matt. I played Lee, and I hurt a bunch of people.
And Matt was also the associate producer on the movie. And Eric, you asked about budget a moment ago, and it would have been probably 10 times that without everything Matt did. He was like the Swiss Army knife of the production. He found most of the locations and secured them. He built a dolly at one point. He helped out as a camera assistant for many of the shoots. So Matt, huge thanks to you.
Yeah.
The $1 Million Man who we didn't pay $1 million.
Yeah, it was a labor of love for a lot of us too.
You guys got paid?
Brilliant film. So let's talk from the beginning. This script, this idea, this number one, it just seems so incredibly well researched. I mean, it's a very intelligent script. I have to say that. And you wrote this along with April. And where did this idea stem from?
Yeah, so, most of the writing I do is about caustically eroded families, having come from one myself. So that's sort of my general interest with narrative. And I was mostly a playwright before I got into film. And so this idea started with sort of a similar sort of story that I've told many times. And then this other component with the science fiction came in, inspired by a number of books, some by Joe Haldeman, some by Robert Heinlein and others. And so the first draft of the script was finished around 2016. And then April joined as a co-writer, and we did about a year's worth of rewrites and readings and getting people together in a room to hear it out loud. And
Yeah, that was really helpful in terms of just shaping just the direction that we wanted to go. And a lot of these actors helped in those workshops. And so figuring out what lines really were good and what lines weren't were super helpful.
well, and I have to give April props as well, because she basically fixed the ending of the movie. It's one of those things where, looking back, it seems so obvious how it was supposed to end, but she was the one who figured out, no, we need to plot it this way to get everyone together.
Brilliant. Brilliant. All right, let's start picking some brains from some of the actors. Elaine, how did they introduce this script to you? How'd you get the part and everything like that?
Well, I actually saw the breakdown for it on an actor's website. And so I submitted myself, and the process was through self-tapes. And it was 2 rounds of self-tapes before they told me that I had received the part. So that's how I was introduced to Craig and April. And that's when I met Jamie as well, our other director. And that's pretty much how I was introduced to the project.
Very cool. You do an amazing job. I love your part. It's absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you.
Actually, let me just say this to all of you, except for you, Todd, because I hate you so much. You are a horrible, evil bastard.
That's fair. That's
I
fair.
mean, you brought ruthlessness to a whole nother level in just such an eerily calm and assuring way. You creeped me out. I've seen the movie now 4 times, because I always watch them twice.
Wow.
First when they're submitted, watched it again, and then just watched it now. You creeped me out. Honestly, I'm very excited that you could join us, because ruthless. I mean, just a horrible, horrible character. I bet you're like one of the nicest guys in the world, though, aren't you? That's always the way it works.
He is.
Thank you. Thank you. That is honestly a huge part of the decision making and the choices made, acting wise. Really go back to the direction from Craig and Jamie. They're truly amazing directors for for helping an actor find nuanced performances. And there are times during the shoot when we'd do a take and they'd both go, okay, that was great. Now dial it back, even calmer, even less. And it was a bit of a challenge, but I trusted the direction. And I'm really glad I did, because they helped me explore in new directions than I thought were possible, and I enjoyed it very much.
I watch a lot of independent films, obviously. Yeah, and well, I think there's a couple downfalls of independent films. One's is terrible sound, and your sound design and everything is absolutely brilliant. Kudos there, but also is overacting. And that's another thing you see a lot in the independent film world. None of you guys did that. I mean, I felt like I was pulled in within like the first 2 minutes, and then it never let me go the whole first time that I watched it, and that's continued throughout the other times. And so kudos to every single one of you, Craig, obviously with your direction, but also the talent that you've just amassed with all these amazing people. Angela, let's talk about you. Let's talk to you a little bit here.
Hey.
So,
What do you want to know?
how'd you get joined onto the film here?
I have known April and Craig. This is so crazy to say. For 20 years now. 20 years. We went to college together, and
That means we all know each other for 20 years.
Yeah.
Except me.
yeah.
But it feels like we've known you forever.
Yes.
Yeah. So, we've been, this whole group has been kind of like an acting troupe for such a long time. We did a lot of theater in LA. After graduating college, we went to college in Oregon. And yeah, Craig always writes the fun parts. I get to play the fun one. And everything Craig ever does, I get to be like the sarcastic, I'm the one that swears. And so I've always appreciated that. It's like Craig knows my id so well that he just writes it for me. But yeah, I don't know. Always fun. Yeah.
And so you said all of you, except for Elaine, have all been working together for quite some time. Who do I want to pick on next? Cody.
Hi.
Hey. So you've known them as well for a long time, worked on other things with them?
Yeah, Craig and I were freshmen together. Angela and April were cool upperclassmen. And so Craig and I went through the actual acting sequence at Southern Oregon, and we got to do just a ton of projects and grow not just artistically, but as people together, all of us. And so we all got really close. I moved to LA shortly after graduating. They were in New York. They decided to come out. And like Angela said, we've done stuff from contemporary plays to Shakespeare to just all sorts of fun stuff. And Craig decided, you know, I want to do film. I want something that, you know, is a little more lasting, that can get, you know, spread out there more. And we're like, okay, we did our first one. And I think it was a huge learning curve, the first one, even though it did really well. I think it's a beautiful film, A Promise of Time Travel. But I think there was such a huge learning curve from that one to this one. And man, Craig and April, just the work they put in to make it look so professional, and just their vision, just it's so good. And we kind of, not to try to speak for everybody else, we're just fortunate. We get kind of swooped in their current, you know, and it's great. It's awesome to be a part of, to be here with you and just have all these great relationships.
Awesome. Ken, how about you?
I did not go to college with them.
What?
Greg cast me in the production of Much Ado About Nothing that they were producing. And that's, how many years ago was that?
That was 2012.
So, and I've known them obviously since. And that's how we keep getting involved with all their projects. So they keep pulling me in.
That's excellent. And very emotional performance. I mean, just absolutely powerful, Ken. It was just great. I don't know. Yeah, kudos. Definitely. Mind blowing. I mean, especially just the character change that you went through from the beginning of the film into the end. Hated you to death in the very beginning of it, as well as, you know, then Todd comes in and Balder takes over, and then I hate him even worse. So, and then we start sympathizing with you. So, a fantastic character arc, which was just very, very well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Craig and April and Jeremy, it's like they kept me on track the whole time. So.
Yeah, obviously, I'm not going to keep coming back to you. I mean, brilliant direction. Obviously, I mean, not like they're not stellar actors and everything like that, but I mean, you know, it takes everybody to make a film. And speaking of that, after I talk to Darcy, we're going to talk about some, you know, behind the scenes people like Matthew here. So that helped with a lot of the production. So Darcy, how'd you get involved?
We've known each other, and I haven't worked with everybody before. I've watched all of their productions in one way or another, but they called me up and they're like, hey, do you want to come do a reading? Are you available to do this? And I was like, absolutely. I mean, they're amazing people. They're just good people. I mean, if you get to hang out with April and Craig, you literally walk away going, they're such great people. I feel so good about myself right now. And like, the world is great. And so they just kept inviting me back to do readings of this and wanting input. And after a few readings, they were like, hey, so are you available this time? Like so we want to film this. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. That's awesome. And they're like, no, do you want the role? Oh, seriously? I thought I was just reading. And they had been silently kind of auditioning me the whole time. Which is literally the best way to get me to do anything, because if I actually have to go into an audition, I just destroy it, like I ruin it. So I can't get cast in anything if I actually have to audition. So the fact that they were silently auditioning me at the readings was awesome.
Brilliant.
Another
brilliant director move.
Exactly,
right?
exactly. Because I was so comfortable and I had so much fun. So of course I wanted to do all the fun things that I get to do in this movie. I got to do so many interesting, fun things for my first go around. So it was fun.
Matthew, Dolly Builder, associate producer, actor.
Yes.
Talk to me. How'd they drag you into this, and how'd they make you do as much as they did?
I don't know. Yeah, right. They offered me like a drink, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll do it. This is during a drink, and we just kept going. No,
That's how we kept the budget so low. A lot of drinking.
a lot of drinking. Yeah,
It is a
exactly.
form of currency, I think. So
Yeah, a bottle of whiskey. It's all it takes. Yeah, I think I don't know. I think I just asked like, hey, like what do we need? And then he's like, oh, I need like locations. Okay, what do we? So from there, I just got lucky. Like I did some location scouting for the previous movie, and I got the bookstore, and I think I was just really excited. I was like, oh my gosh, like I literally just went in and got the bookstore. So I was like feeling very confident about getting other things for some odd reason. But I was like, okay. And then I just rolled with it. And one after another, I reached out on Facebook. Hey, does anybody have a church for filming? Does anybody have this and that? And it all just came together. And Craig, I don't remember how I made the dolly or why. Do you remember?
Yes, because we in the church scene, and we have photos of this. We had sort of ramshackled together a dolly, putting it on our cart that we lugged the
like Red Ryder cart
in. Yeah. And you looked at that and you're just like, no, you should have something better than that. And it's a beautiful triangle. It's the exact dimensions of the tripod, and you stained it, and it's just, I love it.
It was in the
should
middle
be
of
used
filming.
on more productions, right?
Right.
It was in the middle of filming, so it was like when the back half of our shooting got a lot better than the front half.
Well, honestly, then kudos to whoever you guys had edit this, because I think the quality. Oh, holy, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the quality maintains throughout the whole thing. I mean, I didn't ever feel like suddenly, imagery changed, or suddenly, there are films you can see, and there are blockbuster films you can see, as well as independent films, where you can tell there's a quality change. And I always joke, I'm like, they must have really burned through the budget, and they had to like just throw everything away for the last like 15 minutes, And I don't see that in this film, so definitely an excellent job there as well. So that's another question. So how long? I mean, this is a feature length. This is a 2-hour long feature length, number one, which is a bold endeavor. And not only that, but it keeps you involved the entire 2 hours. I've seen some 2-hour films that don't keep me involved the entire time. I think we all have. How long did this take to shoot? How long was this in post, reshoots, all that fun stuff?
Yeah. So, and I should mention about the editing as well, that April has helped quite a lot with that, and we'll circle back to that.
It's mostly him, though. He'll put it all together, and then I'll say, you need to tweak this one thing, but it's mostly him.
Well, anyway, so yeah, it was a year working on the script, 2016 into 2017, and then principal photography kind of took place in 2 thrusts. The first one was at the end of 2017, from September through December. Mm-hmm. We filmed about 40% of the movie. And then we took a long break for the holidays. We came back, and from mid-December through the beginning of March, we filmed about 40%. And then there was just sort of like some little stuff that we had to get.
And this is filming on the weekends. So.
Yeah, we would film 1 day a week on the weekends. The last major film we filmed was in, I think, May of 2018, mm-hmm. and that was the Gladys scene. And
she just had 1 day on set.
1 day on set, and Joanna is someone who we met through Darcy, who's one of the most prolific theater actors I've ever met. But anyway, Joanna was sick in real life, and so we had to keep postponing her shooting because she wasn't well enough to do it. And then she found out she was allergic to olive trees. And
that's what was causing her
and
to be sick.
she was taking medication when we filmed it, but she wasn't sick, and she still had this great cough and all this real
like phlegm
going on in there. But yeah, so middle of 2018, we're pretty much done.
So 2017 all the way to 2018.
There's a few reshoots going on, and that's when we start working with Wiesław Pogorzelski, who's the composer, who's Angela's stepfather. And he's an
accomplished violist.
Yeah, and he's worked on, I think we put it on the website there, lots and lots of Hollywood movies.
Tons.
And he, with our first movie, he was still working, and so he helped out a lot on the first movie with sound notes, and he was like, I don't have the time to compose anything, but here's this catalog of music. If you want to use anything, you're welcome to. But for this one, he started like in the filming process. Angela's mom kept. I saw them the other day. All these emails. She's like, "Vyaswab wants you to know he's available. He's retired now.
He's ready to help." Like
so the score took about a whole year for him to write, and so that was sort of the next major.
That was
thrust of it.
post-production was working with him.
And we didn't really get a final. I mean, it was mostly locked in, but there were still little
right up
little
to the
tweaks.
deadline for this film festival.
Yeah.
We were still tweaking things, and so
Yeah.
it's been a 4-year process.
3.
From writing.
Oh, 4. Yes,
For,
you're right.
starting
That's
from
good math.
writing to the workshops with the actors till then. Yeah.
Well, brilliant. And is there a place where we can watch A Promise of Time Travel, your previous one?
It's currently available on Amazon Prime. It might be leaving there next month, but if it does, we're going to be doing a Vimeo on demand for it.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
Very different
very
type
good.
of film.
And our first film. So
Well, this is only your second film, and it's already. I mean, you've heard me. You've been listening, Craig. I mean, your first film always stinks. Your second film usually does too. It's usually not until you're 10 films in before you're really starting to produce something of caliber. And you guys knock it out of the park on your second one. So I'm not going to believe you with your first film. I'm going to watch it after this festival, and I'll let you know what I think. I might tell you I've never allowed it in a festival. I don't know. I'm going to watch it, and I'll give you my honest opinion on that.
We had really good sound on that one as well. I think that was why we.
Craig's holding back, but a lot of us are audiobook recorders, which gives us a really fine-tuned ear. And especially Craig, his ear is incredible. I think that helps when putting together sound, is he just has a really good ear for making sure it's uniform.
Very sexy here.
Well, and you have, excellent Foley, excellent sound. I got to ask too, with the gunshots, are those blanks? Is that post? Is that, CGI stuff?
The visual or the sound?
The visual. We'll get to the gunshot, but the sound, but the visual, is that blanks that are, triggering the flash, or is that all done in post?
That was all in post, yeah. And with the artificial flash on the faces, yeah.
That is awesome. Very good. And the sound, where'd that come from?
Yeah, so Vyaswab, in addition to being a composer, he has all of this experience with sound design, and he will let you know in the best ways possible when the sound is just not there. And I think the original gunshots that I had sent him were just, I think, things I bought from some source, and he's like, no, these aren't good enough. It needs to be spiking here. It needs to have more. So the gunshots are a composite of about 20 different sounds that were put together, hitting a cardboard box, hitting a metal thing, punching a pillow, basically trying to fill out the entire spectrum of sound in a nice, satisfying, thunking way, and then playing with the reverb on it. And so the gunshots were the visual was easy. That was like 10 seconds and it was done, but the audio took like quite a while to get that.
I can't tell you the number of times I've walked out of my, office or out of my bedroom, and he'll be like, "Can I just get a sound of you just walking down the hall a little bit, or can you just go into the bathroom and lock the door, shut the door? I just need to hear the lock." Like, just all these. Yeah.
And that's one thing Craig's heard me talk about. Our audience has heard me talk about. I'm obsessed with sound. I do sound as well. And people always think, I did a film a while ago. A woman's walking across a wood-covered bridge. No one ran after her with a boom mic. You don't record it then. It's all done in post. And I literally had high heels on my hands and the wood floor in my house. And I'm, trying to pace it out just right because I need to be close enough to the speakers and record quality sound and everything. My girlfriend thought I was insane, but the sound came across perfect. And that's what you have to do with, any type of art like this. Guys, all of you, anyone, let's see. Elaine, I know things are a little strange right now. We're obviously in weird times, but do you have anything on your horizon or anything you're looking towards doing after this?
I actually have a podcast audio series coming out in September. It's sort of a cross between Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings. So it's in a very fantastical arena. And I get to play a badass swordswoman. And
I love it.
So that comes out in September.
Plug the name.
Carcerum. Sorry, I completely spaced. I was all talking about the behind the scenes stuff, but yes, Carcerum is the name of the audio series.
Oh, that's amazing. Going to definitely give that a listen. Angela, how about you?
I have actually kind of grateful for this quarantine and losing my day job, because I've been able to record a lot more audiobooks. So I just finished one called Magic's Daughter by a new author, David Michael Williams. It's really lovely young adult fantasy novel that I had so much fun recording. And it's just being processed and waiting to be released on Audible, hopefully in a couple weeks. And I am working on, I have 3 other audiobooks that I have in various stages of production right now. So audiobooks.
Love it. Super. It's the beauty if you do voice work, is you can, as long as you have a decent enough recording equipment and everything like that at home, you continue to do things, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Todd, evil Todd. How about you, my friend? You got anything on the horizon right now?
Well, yes, actually, like Angela, I'm grateful a little bit for the quarantine. It's forced me to be creative in other ways. Before the quarantine started, I was a costume character at Universal Studios, and I did the Waterworld stunt show up there as well. Since the quarantine happened, I've launched a YouTube series where I am teaching my brother how to cook with cast iron. And so it's like a cooking series on YouTube.
That's cool.
Which has been a lot of fun.
Wonderful. I love it every time it pops up on my phone.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you.
Did you go through seasoning the cast iron skillet first, please? Because I need that. I've got like one that's like dying on me.
Yeah, the very first episode, which is not good because it's my very first episode. I talk about seasoning the cast iron and what to do there, but it's mostly just kind of been for fun. I set up the camera and I talk about cooking and I have a beer and just casual.
Awesome. What's the name of the channel?
It's Todd Teaches Tanner to Cook with Cast Iron, or TTTCT.
Perfect.
Yeah, no, it's an unwieldy title, but again, it's just fun.
That's amazing. I love it. I'm gonna have to watch that right after the festival. In fact, right after our awards show, I know what I'm gonna watch. But especially just because I have a cast iron skillet, like I said, is dying, and I need to revitalize it and start using it again. Matthew, what have you got going on right now?
Nothing. I'm working my 9 to 5 at home, so that keeps me busy, and making a database. Yeah, crazy, but nothing on the horizon yet, unless Craig and April have another project.
There you go. I'm sure they're last, because I'm sure there's something. But Cody, how about you, my friend?
I'm a full-time audiobook narrator. I've been doing that full-time for, I guess, close to 3 years now. So when the quarantine happened, I was already quarantined in my closet, the fancy where the magic happens here in the closet. And I work with Tantor Audio, and they supply me with tons of books. And so that's pretty much what I'm doing right now. Every now and then, Craig will send me a script and be like, "What do you think? What's going on?" We've been fortunate. Craig loves to write, and so like it seems like once a month he has a new project that he wants to do a Zoom meeting with, and so we all get to do these really fun plays or script ideas, and so that always keeps us going as well. But yeah, other than that, just figuring it out, man, figuring out this new world.
Oh, I hear you. Yeah. No, I'm still figuring this out, and I've been doing this festival for a whole week now, and this is our last day, and I still don't have everything figured out. So, so we'll see what happens. How about you, Ken?
I completed a YouTube series this week. I don't have a title because they don't have a title yet. And it's coming out, I think, in a couple of weeks. They're shooting the end of it this weekend. It's by Stunt Kitty Films. You can check it out. And it's a murder mystery done through Zoom. So this woman gets a premonition that there's a murder, and then she starts hacking into everybody's Zoom. And it's kind of complicated. But I play a very sleazy, drunken detective. So
in real life.
I will start looking for that here soon. I got to see you as a sleazy drunken detective. That's my next goal in life. So
I'm wearing a Japanese robe, and it's really kind of silly.
very cool, very cool. How about you, Darcy?
I'm not doing much right now. I really miss theater. I miss theater. I did a lot of musical theater, so I do miss that, and kind of wondering how the world's going to figure out how to do theater again live.
Right.
You know, it's not the same. Like we've done readings and I've seen things on Zoom. You know, I've watched play readings on Zoom and as an audience member, and it's just not the same. And I just miss being in a room filled with the, you know, theater and audience and the smell of the paint and all of that stuff. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm just trying to navigate what I'm going to do creatively now.
I hear you. Yeah, and you're right. I mean, there is something totally different nowadays. I mean, we can all Zoom, we can all talk to each other, but there's a totally different energy when you're all in the same room, you know, and like you said, everything from sight, sounds, smells, everything just kind of encompasses it.
And the movie theater, like we miss going to the movies. I mean, just the experience of seeing a film with a live audience is there's, you know, you go through the journey together, and so I miss that. So right now I'm not doing anything creatively, just trying to figure out my next thing.
I hear you. And I think a lot of us are, I mean, besides you audiobook people, you know what you're doing, but you know, a lot of us are trying to figure out how we're going to continue to navigate things, but we're getting creative. I mean, it's still a little difficult and everything like that. You hit it right on the head, and I've been saying it throughout the week, is the worst part about this festival being online is I don't get to watch our audience's reaction to these amazing films that they're viewing. You don't get to see them. You don't get to meet them. Hopefully your next film that we will definitely show, I just can guarantee it, Lynette will be running and you will be able to come, because it's a very warm, welcoming environment, and a lot of people, big lovers of entertainment and theater and movies and everything like that. So dialing back, April and Craig.
One thing I wanted to
Just
say,
to write a script a month. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, April. Sorry.
is we've been showing the photos of the city, and it's such a beautiful town. Like I'm really sad that we didn't get to visit it, because you have sold us on it. So as soon as things open up, we're definitely going to come visit. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's one. And Mayor Kyle McCoy, we can all thank him. He's the brainchild behind this festival, believe it or not. He approached me 4 years ago to start this, and he's been doing a huge revitalization of the entire city. So they've got this beautiful fountain that they just restored and everything like that. It was home to one of the world's oldest and largest lumber mills that was taken down, unfortunately, but it was in bad disarray, and he was able to take that away, clear it out, you know, and really kind of beautify the city. He's done a magnificent job. He's up for re-election, everybody. Vote Mayor Kyle McCoy, Lynette City. Those residents that are watching, I know we sold a lot of tickets in Lynette because I have my little screen over here, but anyway. Craig, April and Craig, what's on the horizon for you guys?
I'm writing a web series right now that is a romantic comedy. So it's a totally different genre. And it'll be short. So I have 10 episodes written right now. Workshopping that will probably be for me.
You want me to come to any readings or anything?
Don't tell her it's a reading, no. Don't tell her she's auditioning. She's just reading for you.
Do you need me to just read it out loud for you? I can tell you that.
And I it's not every month, but I haven't written a play in 5 years. And so there was just these two ideas that kind of came to me. So I wrote those out, but then also film wise, there's a sci-fi comedy that was basically written for Ken that we've looked at a little bit about, it's set in the future. And the idea is that as part of your taxes, you have to put a list of the 50 people who are important in your life, and there's a calculation that's done, and then at the end of the year, if you don't meet a certain standard, you're shipped off to the Martian colony. And Ken's character is the man who created the calculation and hates people, is a huge misanthrope, and finds out that he is slotted for Mars, even though he didn't think he was supposed to do that. So that's one, and then the other one, which I'm going to be working on with April, is a sort of dark revenge comedy-ish about racism.
There you go.
Nice.
Everybody, it has been a huge pleasure. I've been so excited. I've been waiting for this day for the entire week, especially as Craig kept emailing me going, oh, more people. Oh, hang on, got some more. And then he said, Todd, and I was like, oh man, that evil bastard. Okay, I guess he can come into the chat. And no, but seriously, excellent job from everybody. I mean, just it was unbelievably believable, for lack of a better words. I'm just brilliant. I mean, like I said, it's pulled in. You all sold yourselves so incredibly well in all of these roles. Excellent job directing, writing, producing, filming, everything. I mean, it's blockbuster. I mean, I can totally see this on Amazon. I can see this on Netflix, by all means. And but you already have a movie on Amazon, so I can't do my previous thing of offering services of people I know.
Actually, we would like to know about that.
Yeah,
there's a long story we can go on offline about it, but we would like that information that we heard you talking about the other day.
Yes, actually, we've learned so much on your talkbacks, Eric. It's been such a wonderful resource, and I've really appreciated you putting this together, and I know you're holding it down because we're watching each interview, and it's been really informative, and I really appreciate the questions that you've been asking these directors, because it's become you can tell it's a resource for everybody.
Yeah, it's been like a week of master classes, I feel like. Yeah.
And eventually we really want to get to that live at our festival. It's made this incredibly easy for me here. I mean, I do film myself, nowhere near the caliber of Beyond Methuselah. I'm pretty embarrassed. My budget on my last film was like 4 times bigger than yours, and the film did not turn out. I mean, it turned out great. It did not come out Beyond Methuselah great. But yeah, so I know what it's like to try and film, and I try and ask those questions because a lot of filmmakers are always running into all these hurdles. We all are. So, and as I'm going to reiterate again for our entire audience, because I know a lot of them are filmmakers, sound people. You just watched Beyond Methuselah, sound. That made a huge difference. The acting, filming, everything, of course. I mean, it was a masterpiece, beautifully structured together. But I appreciate every single one of you. Thanks for taking the time out of your day and talking to me.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I went over my Q&A. I knew that was going to happen, though. That's why my next film's only 10 minutes long. It's because I knew I was going to talk to you guys for way too long. I knew it. I knew I should have scheduled it for longer. But I appreciate everybody. Have a great rest of the day, and thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank
you.
you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.